Folks, welcome on in today. We are live. It is Saturday. Me and the big man here today going to do some damage in Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, and also go over some football tips that the big man does specialize in. I'll be your host today, Donnie right side here, and also with the big man on campus at Jeff Nadu on Twitter. Jeff, feels like we just got off the air doing the show last night. Back at it today on Saturday. A lot to talk about. How you doing this morning, big man?
Yeah, I wish I could go back to last night and not put out the soccer picks I put out today. I'll tell you what,
isn't there a delete button on Twitter out there we can use?
Yeah, but I don't do that. But here's the thing. I've looked over my last couple days of my losses. They're literally all coming in the fucking English Championship, which is the level below the Premier League. So I'm done with that fucking league, that piece.
Now, what would be the difference? So I know we all like to look at the higher level of competition as opposed to the lower level. Are there more advantages? Because I know me and you in college basketball and college football like to pick on these smaller conferences.
The difference is they all play each other. The Premier League play each other. The England Championship play each other. The goal for the England Championship is to get up to the Premier League. So it's literally all the rejects that didn't make it and the teams that didn't make it to the Premier League, and they're vying. And when you lose and you get relegated, you get down to the Championship. So it's all teams that weren't good enough in the Premier League that are down in the Championship. So you're dealing with second-level talent. But, you know, a lot of the time they'll put out lines that you really look enticing. I know, Donnie, there's a team Rotherham in England Championship. They're really like horrendously bad. They're like 25 points below everyone else. And wouldn't you know it, I bet against them today and they win today. So how about that?
Yeah, it's just the way it goes. I know you put out everything through Twitter and letting everybody know, but you're still, I mean, even though you had a disappointing morning, I mean, still killing it during the month of April in soccer.
Yeah,
so we'll see if we can get some winners.
Yeah, I'll keep it up. You know, big day tomorrow as well in soccer. So we'll keep it going.
Yeah, got a lot to get over. Before we get into the day baseball card, Jeff, let's talk a little bit about what happened last night. Maybe if you didn't tune in the show, just to give people a little bit of a brush course there. NBA action yesterday. The Celtics pulled one out over the Bulls. A close game to finish, Jeff. And I know we talk about getting the best number possible. Oklahoma City Thunder and the Houston Rockets end up 115-113.
Yeah!
Some people got 2, some people got 2.5, right?
Tottenham scores. Big stuff, baby.
I thought you were cheering the score from last night.
No, I was cheering the Houston Rockets. Yeah, look, I mean, if you got 2.5, you're a winner somehow. And you got to count your lucky stars that you won. I mean, what a win if you had 2.5. That's really, if you were laying like 2, you were laying 2.5. I mean, you lose. That's tough, man. Whatever you were on, if you won, you won. It's really all about the number there. Yeah, what else do you say? I mean, and that's what when you get with Houston, you're getting points. I mean, I think against Oklahoma City, I think that's still the bet every time. I mean, look how good Oklahoma City played last night and still only won by 2. I think going forward, that's something. I think that's the win they'll get, and that's going to be it, honestly.
No, that's good. Folks, welcome in. If you're just tuning in here to the Saturday show, again, this is the right side of campus. Follow us at SBR Sports Picks there on Twitter, SBRodds.com. Also, as you know, me and Jeff also have the late night show, the Late Night on Campus, that airs Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday during the week. And also, if you see, you're watching it live through YouTube there, click the subscribe button if you haven't yet on SBR Sportsbook Review. Again, continues to climb, Jeff. We were at barely over 28,000. Now we got 28,151. Let's continue to shoot that up.
It's funny how I look at that every day, and it keeps going up. And that's it's a really nice, refreshing thing for me and for Donnie and for everyone at SBR. I remember when it was down in 27,000. Now it's up over 28,100. Now it's getting closer to 28,200. Little by little every day, if we can continue to add subscribers. Listen, and I want to make this clear. We come on here, Donnie and I, we love doing this. We really enjoy it. We look forward to doing this every day. My biggest passion in life is doing this. And, people might say, well, it's just sports and everything, but for me, it's a passion. I know for Donnie, it's a passion. We enjoy coming on there. I know sometimes we get into it with people. I get into it mostly with people on the box. I'm passionate. It's the passion in me. And it's nice that we can all come on here and have a fun way to chat about sports and hopefully make some money along the way. But we're not going anywhere. It's only going to continue through baseball, into football. We're looking to build a brand here, really blow up what we're doing. And I think so far in the short time we've done videos together, Donnie, we've done that. So
Yeah.
looking into down the road, and I'm excited about it.
Yep, everybody tuning in there on the chat box again, chiming in. Vitalis says, at BMOC, can you give me your thoughts on Monaco Lyon tomorrow? You never really commented on that game. We're going to get to everything today. Soccer, we're going to leave it for a little bit later.
I'll get to that for
we have some little bit of pressing needs there in Major League Baseball.
I'll write that down. I got you.
No, we'll get back to that there. Major League Baseball, if you follow me on Twitter, again, I'm just putting my plays out this month. Again, not putting that much hardcore information into capping, just reading some, indicators going out there. 18-7 overall this month. 11 of those plays have been underdogs. Favorites, you might say pumping up your record with -160, -170s. Highest line I've had so far is -119. So putting out a good April. Let's continue on that trend. Today, if you saw me tweet out, gave some numbers and statistics, not really feeling too many of these games the way the indicators are popping up. There is one a little bit later that we're going to go over, which I'm going to see if we can maybe work in. But you never know. Lines change during the day. Ticket numbers change. We'll see some lineups come out. So we'll certainly have a lot of fun, Jeff. Let's get to the action here. Major League Baseball, 1:10 p.m. on the rotation, Jeff. 9:01, 9:02. That's Jake Arrieta versus Cody Reed on the mound. Early indicators as normal, Jeff. We've seen it all through April. 77% of the money line tickets, the money line numbers are coming in on the Chicago Cubs. Line opened up at Pinnacle on SBRodds.com at -165. It has risen. If you're checking out there on Chris or 5 Dimes, you have -185 and -174 in this game. Just a couple quick things here. The Cubs feasting on left-handed pitching. I know it's early. 4-0 overall with lefties. 5-2 on the road. The Reds actually are 9-5 versus right-handed pitching, so we'll see what happens. This is a spot start today, Jeff, as you know, for Reed, and the Reds might be some trouble here. What do you think?
Yeah, by the way, what up, Matt? Matt Varnum, where the hell have you been, man? I've been trying to get in touch with that dude forever. Matt, get in touch with me, man. I was worried about Matt because, Donnie, in this community, if someone dies, we don't know about it. If someone goes away, we don't know about it. Stay in touch, man. But, yeah, back to this game. Yeah, you mentioned it. Cubs crush left-handed pitching. They're 4-0 against lefties this year, hitting .286. They've won 16 of 20 in Cincinnati. Won last night, didn't they? In pretty interesting fashion, like they always seem to do. But you mentioned, it's Jake Arrieta, who has been marvelous this year, against Cody Reed, who, if you followed me last year on my show, I faded Cody Reed a lot. I don't think he's a major league pitcher. We all know the Red situation, and the only reason he's in here is to eat up innings. That's really kind of his thing. When we say he's not a major league pitcher, he's truly not a major league pitcher. He's only up here for one reason. So for me, I know I've said this before once or twice this year. I'm going to lay the run line, and I am going to lay the run line in this game. I think this is a 6-2 type of game, 7-3. The Reds will score a couple, maybe later in the game, but I think Arrieta really needs to tie something down, really give them some semblance in this rotation right now. They're going down too early in games. I think Arrieta comes in today, really throws a nice outing. And you look at Cody Reed last year, Donnie, 47 2/3 innings. He gave up 12 home runs, 39 earned runs, and opponents at 328 off of him. Yeah. So I would expect Cody Reed to come in here and get crushed, especially in his first start. It's hard to imagine he comes in here and is effective today.
Yeah, and those never say die Cubs pulling games out late with big runs. That's a team that's been there, done that before. So maybe they start getting hot, but certainly a pitching mismatch on the docket today. Next game up I had here on the rotation, Jeff, 9:03, 9:04, 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to take this one up to Flushing Meadows, Washington, and Gio Gonzalez takes the mound, the lefty versus Jacob deGrom. deGrom, as you know, was supposed to start last night, but Harvey got the spot start because of a stiff neck for deGrom. I don't really know how serious it was. Obviously, only bumping back a pitcher one day. I don't know if that's going to play into it. Early indicators here, Jeff, 52% of the tickets coming in on the New York Mets. Line opened up at -110, but has now since dipped back. You see Pinnacle on SBRodds.com, -110, Chris, -111. So it has come back a little bit, just a little bit of snippets. The one thing with the Washington Nationals now, looks like they're starting to gain their traction. They've won 5 in a row, 11-5 versus right-handed pitching, 9-4 versus the division. The Mets 4-6 at home. I know, Jeff, you're not happy with the Mets bats. You don't have too much of a belief in them. The Gonzalez has been decent to start the year here. You're getting a short line again with the New York Mets at home. Do you trust the team in this situation? You're just going to look to say, until Washington slows down, I just think they're the better team here.
Yeah, that's the way I would look here. I mean, I'm not betting on the Mets at home. I mean, this team's hitting 199 in Flushing. I mean, this lineup sucks. I don't know how else I got to say it. Year after year, they're not very good. They hit around 200. That's what they do. They're just not that good. Washington's won 5 in a row. They're hitting 275 this year as a club, which they're going to be one of the stronger lineups in the NL. You just look top to bottom, just really have a lot that can, you kind of filled some gaps with maybe guys last year that didn't hit, i.e. Michael Taylor or someone like that. Yeah. And Trey Turner's been out, so he's not even been in the lineup. Yeah, look, I mean, Gio's actually, Donnie, you've mentioned it a couple, week or so ago. Gio's been pretty good. I mean, and, against a team that he's been pretty effective against in his career, Mets don't scare you. I think when you're getting the Nationals going forward at a price like this, regardless of who it's against, you're going to be on the right side a lot of the time. For me, I like the Nationals at a short price here. And it's, for me, just a kind of a crux of they have a great lineup. I think today – I trust Gio a little bit more, especially with DeGrom's injury issues. And I don't know if I'll bet on this personally, but the Nats to me are probably the right side here.
Yeah, no, taking a look at it, I mean, I agree with you on that end of it with Washington and the Mets there. There's no shortage of power there with Bryce Harper in the middle of that lineup, so it's kind of crazy the way it breaks down. But again, yeah, you're looking at that line as obviously minus 110. You're actually getting a plus number right now with the Washington Nationals, so certainly kind of interesting the way you break that down. But I don't have much on those first two games in the way of betting. If you're looking even reading lines, a lot more money is on the New York Mets at this point. That line is coming down, so something to keep an eye on. Don't know if Cespedes is going to play in this one either.
Yeah, that's another point. That's probably the biggest bat of the lineup out. I will point this out as well. I mean, you look at during this little 5-game win streak they've been on, what do you see, Donnie, in a lot of the games? Probably, let's say 3 of the games.
I see Bryce Harper coming up big in huge situations, nonstop on repeat.
And you also see low scores, and that means to me the bullpen's coming in doing an effective job. I mean, I know Scherzer went out the other night. They held it down against Atlanta, again against Atlanta when Dickey was up for them. They did it last night as well. Maybe we're seeing them make a little bit of a turn bullpen-wise. I hope Gio can go tonight. Maybe they have a nice little lead. I think Washington's the play here.
Yeah, I mean, certainly can't argue. We went over it a couple times on shows earlier where, I really zeroed in on Gio Gonzalez because he does get value outside of the big 2 guns there at the top of the lineup. Next up here, 7:05 Eastern Standard Time. We'll keep it right in the rotation, 9:05, 9:06. Atlanta versus Philadelphia. Garcia is going to take the mound versus Jared Eichhoff. Early indicators, the Phillies slightly at 56% of the tickets. Opened up at minus 123. Jeff has peeled back just a little bit. Chris has it at minus 21. 5 dimes there on SBRodds.com at minus 116. The one interesting thing here is Jared Eichhoff has been very serviceable coming up last year into the rotation for the Philadelphia Phillies. Just looking at some early numbers here. Phillies haven't hit left-handed pitching that well, albeit it's April. They're only 0-2 there, but 3 straight quality starts here from Eichhoff. If you look at the Atlanta Braves here, maybe some of that malaise is already setting in for the summer. 2-7 on the road, 2-7 in the division, and 2-7 after a loss, so haven't bounced back all that well. I think you're getting a cheap price here with the Philadelphia Phillies, depending on what that number is actually going to end up, minus 116, minus 115 in that range. Over, under, Jeff opens at 8, drops to 7.5, pretty much across the board here, so another one to look at. I know, Jeff, yourself, last night you were on the Philadelphia Phillies with a 4-3 win last night. And got a little bit of crazy at the end, but it seems like that's the way it's going to be with these two teams. I lean lightly here on the Phillies just because I like what Eichhoff brings to the table, and they're the home team.
Yeah, I'm not going to give my money back in this game. I'll take the unit that I made and walk away. I don't really have much opinion on it. I mean, the Phillies struggle against left-handed pitching, though. If you look at over the last couple of years, they've actually come out on top against left-handed pitching due to the fact that a lot of the time they're underdogs. So I don't know. That's kind of concerning, I guess, with the left-handed thing. The Braves can't win on the road, just 2-7 in 9 road games. 2 pitchers that kind of – I will say I do like Jamie Garcia. I think he'll add a little bit of an arm to this group. He's kind of struggled early on. But, Don, you look at his outings. I mean, he hasn't gotten crushed. I mean, he gave up 4, 3, and 2. Not terrible. But I don't know. Flip of a coin. If I'm going to bet the Braves, I want to get a little bit back. 109, 110 is just not really enough for me. So this is going to be a pass for me. I'll take the profit I made in this game last night and walk away here.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to gauge those teams because, again, we have those targeted as cellar dwellers. So what you get is what you're going to get and basically what you're going to see. So I envision another type game that you had last night. I don't see anybody, maybe running away with these games because, again, both these teams technically aren't that good. So we'll see what happens tonight.
Yeah,
Next game. Yeah, go ahead.
By the way, Johnny Fiorenza, why back the Nats on the run line? Is he talking about? Is he saying?
I think he's just saying he wants that super value and that, like an alternate.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting bet by you. Yeah. I'm not really sure I would do that personally, but just because of the bullpen issues, I mean, you could very well get a game. You will get the 9 at bats, which is good, but I guess if you're, sometimes at baseball, you got to just kind of look to what makes sense, maybe. But good luck, man. I hope you win. What do we got next, Don?
Yeah, division matchup coming up, Jack's rotation 907, 908. Lance Lynn's going to take on Chase Anderson there.
Johnny hit Nats money line and Indians run line. Very good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Brewers cards. Sorry, Don.
Yeah, no. Looks like, even betting here, 55% of the tickets and 55% of the money, Jeff, both coming in on St. Louis here. Line opened up as, basically a pick of -104 from Milwaukee. Milwaukee has since gained a little bit here. Chris, if you're looking at SBRodds.com, -110. It looks like the Brewers are coming in at here. And again, the Brewers have been live the entire season. Maybe sort of underlooked here. Braun, Thames, both of those guys coming out really swinging the bats. St. Louis, albeit getting the win yesterday, still 2-6 on the road. Milwaukee, 9-9, about what you thought they would be. 7-6 versus right-handed pitching, only 3-6 at home. Lance Lynn was great in his last outing, Jeff, versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. 7 innings, 0 earned runs. Anderson's had 3 good starts to start 2017. 3 earned runs in all 3 starts. So one of those games where I think you might be getting one of those reverse type lines because only 44% of the numbers coming in, a little bit heavier betting action here on St. Louis. So that's going to be one to ponder. I don't really have much on this game because I still don't trust St. Louis yet on the road. If you had Milwaukee or Jeff, you probably would agree maybe in some dog money. I think they would be the play. But the one thing you might want to take a look at, the over-under opening at 8.5 has now since spiked to 9 pretty much across the board. So that's another one. When Milwaukee bats get hot, they can certainly get there. But both these pitchers coming in relatively good here coming into today.
Yeah, I like Lance Lynn normally. He's someone that I'm looking to back, but I'm not interested in the St. Louis Cardinals on the road until they get their issues turned around. I kind of liked Milwaukee last night, and of course St. Louis wins. St. Louis is a team for me personally, year after year, I never seem to get back. I can't really ever get them right. Seems like when I bet on them, they can't hit their way out of a fucking paper bag. I bet against them, they score 6 runs. I mean, when someone asks me, they are the team in the major leagues I just can't ever get right. So for that reason, I'm out.
Yeah, no, I don't see much overall value if you're just looking to take a team that's struggling on the road, albeit the St. Louis Cardinals. Again, I would like a little bit of dog money here, but some good lines that line up. We'll see as the line movement goes on throughout the day. It is a 7 o'clock start, so we do have a lot of stuff to come through. We'll get some lineups that are coming in as well. Next game we're going to talk about on the docket, Jeff, seems like we talk about just about every day or every other day. That's the Los Angeles Dodgers versus the Arizona Diamondbacks. 3,000 tickets looks like have come in on the game already, but it's the same old situation, Jeff. Will the Dodgers wake up and hit left-handed pitching? 3-6 this year versus lefties, but 5-3 after a loss. So it looks like they bounced back well. Arizona at home, Jeff. I know you tweeted out last night with one of our good friends, Ian Cameron. You can't shake a stick at what Arizona is doing at home, and they really hammered the Dodgers bullpen late last night.
Yeah, I love Arizona. I really love this team. I mean, you know that. I know that. I love Arizona. Under all circumstances, they're going to win a lot of games this year. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to tell you, on April 22nd, they will win this division.
Ooh, how about that? You get a little bit of a break with Bumgarner going down, maybe some struggles with the Dodgers. Yeah,
I'm telling you, man, this team is real. They have a new manager. They're starting to get a little confidence in that rotation. And I'm going to tell you right now, Robbie Ray is looking really impressive.
Yes, he is.
And this lineup, I mean, they kind of remind you of kind of a poor man's Toronto Blue Jays last year. Mm-hmm. That lineup is difficult.
1 through 8 looks great, man. It actually looks fantastic. I agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, you really don't get much day off in that lineup. And what's so crazy about this team so far is Paul Goldschmidt's not been particularly good. I mean, he's only hitting 254. He had a nice night last night, but going in to the game last night, he was only hitting 230, Donnie. So he's not been that good. He hasn't been your typical, all-star Paul Goldschmidt. This team is good. They're for real, I think, so far. They are really good at home. They're starting to win games on the road. Yeah, I'm all over them tonight. I'll continue to back them here. I think at this price, again, they're an underdog. They've won 7 of 8 at home. They're hitting 320. I mean, really impressive. Maeda's not been good at all. 14 innings. He's given up 11 earned runs. And you look at Robbie Ray, Don. He just faced this Dodger team, gave up 1 run over 6 innings. They're going to only continue to improve. I think tonight you got to continue to ride Arizona. For me, until Arizona slips up at home or kind of goes on a little bit of an inconsistent run, not only do you get the Arizona Diamondbacks at home, Donnie, but you get the Dodgers against a left-handed pitcher on the road. It's Arizona for me in a spot that I'll continue to bet on them long term.
Yeah, the one interesting thing, which is sort of bucking the trend early here in the season, 42% of the wagers was the Dodgers versus 58% on Robbie Ray. Line opened up at -104, is now sitting, Jeff, with Chris and 5 Dimes about -122. So you have that nice reverse line action if you're believing in that. If you're just a blind capper going with those numbers, sometimes it doesn't add up because we know the struggles. We know how well Ray is pitched, and we also know that Maeda out there struggled, Jeff. Just getting back even some updated numbers, the last 9 innings he's pitched, the last 2 outings, Jeff, 8 earned runs. So certainly not coming in hot. That's not what you want to see when you have a Arizona Diamondbacks team that can certainly rake at the plate.
Yeah, it's they're just, and look, Donnie, their bullpen hasn't been great, but I think it's getting there. I mean, as long as they're not as bad as they got to be a little bit better than they were last year. They were really bad, but yeah, I mean, and you know what, Donnie, another thing last night that I liked about them.
Yeah,
I've said this before. Last night is a game they lose.
Yeah.
They come back. They have a huge inning late in the game. I like this team a lot.
Yeah, no, sometimes it does add up. Next game that we have on the docket here, Jeff, we're going to go out to Coors Field, 8:10 Eastern Standard Time start, 9:11, 9:12 on the rotation. Matt Moore is going to take on Senzatella. And here's what I'm going to say, folks. Yesterday, I told you on the show, I had a couple that I circled, maybe for a possible red light special. Last night, we had the San Diego Padres, which Jeff says, sometimes you got to lay down with the fleas in order to come up with some cash. And we did it again last night with the Padres getting not very many bets and not very many action there versus the Marlins. That one won. This is one I'm going to have on my radar. Let's get to some of the numbers here. Opening up, Matt Moore, the lefty on the mound, only 39% of the tickets coming in right now, Jeff, on San Francisco. The key ingredient here, 73% of the money is actually on San Francisco. Colorado opens up as a slight favorite of -113. Looks like with Chris down to -111, Sportsbook -110. So a little bit of reverse line movement, not that much. But the one thing that is definitely a red flag here is that there's 40% of the tickets on San Francisco, but 73% of the money. I know Coors Field, it's a crazy one there. Maybe reeling a little bit from the Bumgarner problems and injuries riding the dirt bike here. Also, Matt Moore being a lefty, that Colorado technically has been hitting left-handed pitching at a nice clip at 5-1 this year versus them. San Francisco 6-11 on the year, struggling, only 3-8, Jeff, versus right-handed pitching here. Matt Moore has not had any good start. Has not really progressed that much. 5 2/3 inning, 10 hits, 5 earned runs the last time he faced this squad. And Senzatella's been pretty good. 3 straight quality starts. So a lot of things don't add up in this game. So you might have to take a sit-back approach in this one, let some of those tickets pile up. But this is the game, Jeff, I'm keeping my eye on in the way of the Giants here.
Yeah, as I heard your breakdown, I had a figure you would be on the Giants. The problem with them is they're just – I don't think they're that good. I'll continue to say that about teams. They're not playing well. They've lost 5 of 7. Their rotation in spots where they need to come to play haven't. Johnny Cueto got lit up last night. You mentioned the Bumgarner stuff. And look, we see all the time. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of blown away at the reaction to this and how Madison Bumgarner is such a horrible person because he did this. How many times do you see athletes going on off days to do things? Should he have been riding a dirt bike? Probably not. There should be something in the contract about it. You got to remember, though, Madison Bumgarner is from the country. He's grown up that way. That's how he is. Riding dirt bikes is not something that he's never done before. Who the hell knows what happened here? I remember a story last year, Donnie. I don't know if you remember this. Madison Bumgarner, a baby. Did you hear that baby rabbit story?
No, go ahead. Tell.
Really quick story for anyone that doesn't know this. They were on his farm, Madison Bumgarner and his wife. Vince Scully told this story live on the air, and I thought it was one of the more remarkable stories I've ever heard. They were on their ranch one day, and they found and encountered a snake, a large snake, on their property. Mm-hmm. He had eaten a rabbit, a baby rabbit.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yep, I know. Go ahead, finish it. Yep.
Bumgarner managed to get the rabbit out of the snake somehow, nursed the rabbit back to health somehow. The rabbit was still alive inside of the snake. He rescued the rabbit somehow and let it out into the wild. Just a remarkable story. I mean, that's the kind of guy Mad Bumgarner is. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's a sad story. It sucks. He's a great competitor and a good pitcher, and it's only going to hurt the Giants. But I don't think it has any bearing on what the team does today. This Colorado team has started to find it a little bit. We saw last night. And I just don't trust Matt Moore. Senzatella has been pretty good, and Matt Moore got absolutely crushed the last time he faced the Rockies in Coors. So for me, I don't have much opinion. It's kind of who do you like less. Do I trust Senzatella? Not really. He's a young kid. But I just don't like the Giants. So for me, it's a pass.
Yeah, lightly bet game so far, only 2,142 tickets tracked on that game, just to give you an idea of what's going on out there. The highest game of the day, obviously, because gamblers are gamblers, is the first game at 110 with Chicago and Cincinnati. That has about 9,800 tickets that have been tracked in that one. Next up on the docket, going right back to the place where I won some money last night, Miami and San Diego, rotation 913, 914. Straley and Weaver, 68% of the tickets backing Straley at this point. Again, no surprise on that, only 32% again with San Diego, 22% of the money with San Diego. So not only is Miami getting heavy ticket action, also getting heavy money action, and the line is reflecting that. Pinnacle opened up, Jeff, at minus 115, has ballooned all the way up to about minus 133, minus 138 on SBRodds.com with 5 dimes. So no surprise there. It takes a hard head, Jeff, to bet with Weaver at this point. San Diego, even though they're 5-2 at home, Miami's 4-3 after a loss, so they bounce back. Oh well. Last 2 starts here, 6 innings, 2 earned runs in both starts for Weaver. Is this 2010? What are we doing here?
I mean, Jared Weaver, Donnie, his fastball's at 84. His velocity is
even at 84.
Yeah, he gives up too many home runs as well. All of his earned runs have come off the long ball. Miami is a team that has hit 19 home runs in 16 games. They're going to hit home runs, especially with the likes of Stanton and Bohr and Yelich and those kind of guys. You also look at the fact that in his 3 starts, they have not won any of them, San Diego. But here's the thing, Don. They've won 3 in a row, San Diego. Yep. In Petco this year, opponents hitting 203. Yeah. This has been a tough place to go. They've kind of, in their wins, these are the wins where they're getting. They're at home, kind of getting good pitching. But it's hard for me to pick Jared Weaver. I get him confused. Yeah. Jared Weaver. I'm not interested in Jared Weaver, but I'm also not particularly interested in laying this price with the Marlins. I think they'll score some runs tonight, but just too much of a price for me. Donnie, you also have to point out, this line was up close to 140 about an hour ago. So, I don't have anything. I don't think that it's worth a bet to me.
Yeah, one thing that you look at, like I've been a fan, and I know you have as well, Jeff, of that Miami overall lineup. If they're healthy today, I mean, that's the type of team that can really put some bats on Jared Weaver, long ball, There's not very many outs in that 1 through 8, which was amazing last night watching Cahill just peel through them. I think at one point the Padres had put down 16 straight Marlins, which is amazing for that game. But I think you might bounce back. I think you're getting a little bit of a decent number here, even though it's going to be bearing on what that Padres offense can do. If the Padres can get to, let's just say, 3 runs in this one, I think you're going to have a good shot at that over, since it is pretty low, Jeff, sitting at only 8 at this point.
Yeah. I mean, we would imagine Miami will score some runs.
Yeah.
I would hope San Diego scored 2 or 3. Yeah, you might have something. Don, I want to address one thing. I
Yep, sure.
don't want to delete comments. Not really something I'm looking to do on here, unless it's like some troll or something. But guys, we're on SBR Forum. We're not going to promote other odd services on here. It kind of gets away from what we're trying to do here. So we're just not going to do that. We're not going to have other ones, right? You know what I mean, Don?
Yeah, no, we'll keep it to as much as we can.
Can't have we can't have that on here. But people that want betting percentages, I don't. Dottie, can you help them on that? I don't know.
Yeah. No, there's a couple services that I use. I posted it on there, which ones I have. But yeah, for all intents and purposes, while we're on the show, I always flip on SBRodds.com just to give a random rundown. But there are some other services out there. Again, SBR is a complete free service, SBRodds.com. You have to pay for the other services. So.
Yep. Amen. Where are we going to next, buddy?
Let's see what we got here on the docket. 9:15, 9:16, 6:10 Eastern Standard Time start. It's Houston and Tampa Bay. Good series here so far. Morton and Snell, the lefty on the mound. Early betting indicators, 54% of the tickets. So a pretty even betting matchup to start out here, Jeff, favoring Houston. Line opened up at -104, but you start to see some swinging movement over to Houston, similar to the same movement you had yesterday with Tampa Bay and Houston was a victor in that one. But the same scenario is setting up here. If we take a look a little bit into this game, Houston's 5-1 on the road, Jeff. We followed them for the past week and a half. Obviously, won 8 of 9 overall. The Rays are 8-3 at home, so something has to give here. Morton's been good the past 3 starts here, which is kind of surprising to me. Snell, 9 2/3 innings, 1 earned run in his last 2 starts combined. So a little bit maybe of a pitching matchup coming into here. I'm not interested, to be honest with you, Jeff. I've ridden Tampa Bay a lot throughout the year. But right now is one of those things where you take a look at Houston and say, are you willing to go against them right now? Because they're getting hitting, pitching, and bullpen action at the right time.
The problem I have, though, Donnie, with Blake Snell is he doesn't go particularly deep in games. I'm not a big fan of Tampa's bullpen. I mentioned yesterday, I thought yesterday the over was a good play. It came in. I'm going to go right back down Main Street with the over again. I don't really see these two pitchers. I'm not in love with them. I'm definitely not in love with Morton. I think Snell is hittable. I think he's a guy that will give runs up. And we've mentioned these two teams. You look at Houston on the road, extremely effective, hitting .304 and scoring almost 7 runs a game. Tampa Bay, they've been murdering the ball at home as well. So for me, I would look over the total. I know Houston's kind of been an under-trender over the last 4 or 5 games, but I think with two teams that are kind of murdering the ball right now, 2 kind of average pitchers, I just don't think we see a 3-2 game here. I think this is like a 5-4, 6-5 type of game. I think it gets over that 8.5. And if we can get it 4-4, we're a winner. So for me, I'll just kind of keep riding that. I think this is kind of an over series, especially with Keuchel and some of those guys we haven't seen yet. So for me, I'm going to go over in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, folks out there, on Twitter, he's at Jeff Nadu. I'm at Rightside VP. If you have any questions on gambling stuff, SBR, when you just go to the website, they're going to peel through everything, try to protect you as much as possible, give you ratings on sports books. But if you have something maybe outside the loop there they don't want to share there, reach out to me and Jeff and give us a DM. We're always more than willing to help out there and certainly provide a service that, again, in the end, we're all here to win money and protect each other in the gambling business. So we can see what we can do. Reach out on Twitter for us if you had any questions that maybe we don't even ask or maybe even get to on the chat box there when we're running through these games.
I will also say, Dottie, you made a good point about the Houston, not Texans, Astros. They're a team that I'm just not looking to jump in front of right now. And I'm also not ever crazy about betting on Tampa Bay. They're just a team that I just don't really like over the years. So, yeah, I don't think you should jump in front of Houston right now. I think you're getting a decent price, but I don't trust Morton. So, for me, over would be the play here.
Yeah, let's keep it moving down here on the line. Busy Saturday to get after, but certainly an interesting Major League Baseball card. Cleveland and the Chicago White Sox rotation, 9:17, 9:18. They'll get that started at 7:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Early indicators, 65% here coming up on Cleveland and Carrasco. And no surprise, it's very hard. Pelfrey's going to get his first start of the year. Longtime New York Met guy, Exactly. I'm sort of chuckling because I'm trying to come up with, some things I can say how Pelfrey might be a good pitcher or a good play in that situation. -190 to open up, Jeff. Spiked all the way at -210. Oh, Chris, SBRodds.com showing -215 at 5 dimes, -215 again with Sportsbook. Cleveland's had 4 straight wins, 7-3 on the road. Hit righties to a clip of 6-3. And let's not forget about it. It has nothing to do with today's game, but their ace, Chris Kluber, last night got back on track. 9 innings, shutout ball, complete game victory. Chicago White Sox only 3-7 versus right-handed pitchers, but they are, however, Jeff, 5-2 off of a loss. This is Pelfrey's first start of the year. Good luck backing him and seeing how he's going to come out today against the Indians.
Yeah. Hey, Rich, how you doing, man? Welcome in. Yeah, I mean, listen, I've made it a point. I think Michael Pelfrey is a complete gas can year after year. He sucks. And you know what sucks about Mike Pelfrey, Tony? He's always on bad teams, it seems like. Teams that don't hit, teams that at least don't make it easy on him. At least, like, you already Dickey had last year, like the Toronto lineup that he could maybe kind of deal with. But, I mean, Pelfrey just – it's not going to get any easier today, Donnie. I mean, he's facing, if not the most hot team in baseball right now. I mean, they're pretty hot, Cleveland. They've won 7 of 10 on the road this year. They've been real road warriors. You look at Pelfrey down in AAA Charlotte this year. In 6 innings, he's given up 10 hits, 5 earned runs, and opponents earning 357 off him. That's in AAA. It's been bad for Mike Pelfrey for a long period of time. He's had major struggles. He does not belong in the major leagues anymore. Anyone will tell you that has half of a brain about anything in this sport. I'm not saying I have a half a brain. I have maybe like a quarter. But, you know, you look at last year, Donnie, opponents at 332 off Mike Pelfrey. I mean, what else do you say about him? I mean, and now he's facing the Cleveland Indians, who have arguably one of their better pitchers. Carlos Carrasco has been really good. And this lineup for Cleveland has been humming. I would lay the 1.5 runs here with Cleveland.
Yeah, so early betting action now. And the one thing, though, we can agree upon, though, with Pelfrey, maybe if he gets knocked out in the first inning, it might be a good thing as long as he doesn't give up more than 2 to 3 runs, because that Chicago White Sox bullpen has been sparkling at about a 1.3 ERA on the season.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Chicago, Don? Is that what you said?
Chicago White Sox. Yeah, just talking about the bullpen. If Pelfrey goes out, you know, at least you have something to lean on with that team, right?
Yeah, but then you got to start dipping into a lot of arms. And, you know, we mentioned it. I think it was someone mentioned, I think it was this thing we do. At some point, they're going to start to get, you know, eaten up, you would think. And, you know, we've seen it. I mean,
that bullpen, yeah.
I mean, remember the Dodgers, Donnie, going into last night? Their bullpen had been fantastic also. They get
sliced.
They got absolutely crushed. I'll tell you what, Donnie. There's something looking me dead in the eye, and that's the over 4.5 team total for Cleveland.
There you go. That's the work. I like it because I agree with you. I like team totals on the road more than home because, again, you're always guaranteeing yourself that full 9 innings, which is key. Same thing when you take maybe a run line team, unless it's a ridiculous mismatch like a Kershaw versus, you know, a gas can out there. I always look to lean and get that value on the road team.
And I have to say this, Donnie, about Mike Pelfrey. When has he ever been good? Ever?
I don't know. He's been yeoman's work for a couple years with the Mets, but yeah, there's nothing overpowering. All that stuff.
Opponents earning 293 career off Mike Pelfrey.
Yeah.
His whip is 1.5.
You're not going to get an argument from me on that.
I mean, he sucks. You look at the last 4 years. 2013, 300. 2014, 305. 2015, 304. Last year, 332. He fucking sucks. Mike Pelfrey's one of the worst pitchers in the major leagues. And he's never been good. It's not like at one point he was a decent pitcher. He's never been good. He's always sucked. The best year of his career, 2008, opponents at 276 off of him. His ERA was 3.72. Big fucking whoop. He sucks.
Yeah, you know, I'm also one of the guys that like to take a look at weather. Not much in the way of wind conditions throughout Major League Baseball here, Jeff. But to start the game, it looks like you're going to get wind out to right field at 11 miles per hour in Chicago. So that certainly might help that ball get over the fence as opposed to blowing in. So you might be on to something there with that team total over 4.5. That does look kind of intriguing to say the least.
Yeah, I definitely like the team total for sure.
You got it. Let's keep it moving here. Rotation 919, 920. We have Detroit and Minnesota. Boyd versus Mejia. 69% of the early tickets coming in on Detroit. By the way, Miguel Cabrera did just go on the DL this morning, so he'll be out for an extended period of time. Line opened up in Minnesota's favorite here at -104 and has pretty much stayed the same. So only 32% of the wagers coming in on Minnesota. That might be one that we might want to mark down and take a look at for 2 o'clock. Right now, I'm just waiting for Minnesota. Last night, a nice win. But the one thing I want to get back to the point is with Detroit, boy, if you're taking them for a full game, I mean, I don't know what you need to have a strong, vodka, maybe a strong, rum concoction or something, because That's just white knuckle time from 7th, 8th, and inning on, and it happened again last night, Jeff, and I don't see it ending anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a coin flip to me, but listen, I mean, Detroit's lost 4 in a row and 5 of 6, so but you look, this is a tough series. No real advantage. Detroit really struggles against lefties, Donnie, hitting 187, but they're 4-1 against lefties.
That's interesting.
Kind of weird. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here, Donnie, and this is just a slight lean.
Yep.
I'll go under 9.
Yeah, total's 9. So, yeah, I mean, they're still hanging a big number out there as well.
I think maybe these two. And Boyd's actually been, he was a guy that for a while kind of struggled with Detroit. But I remember when he was with Toronto. He's actually been all right, I have to say. It's funny, Donnie, last year I had a 10-unit play. It was the one play of my year last year, I believe. It was a 10-unit play on Toronto, and Matt Boyd pitched. I think it was against Detroit, and I think Boyd pitched, and he got lit up, and it was a winner. But, yeah, Boyd, I don't know. I think he'll pitch pretty well today, though. Both these lineups have kind of struggled.
Yeah, taking a look. Speaking of struggling, Jeff, that new look Detroit lineup, the lineups just came out. You got Kinsler's hitting 200. In the second hole, you have Mikey Matuk, 158. Castellanos going to hit out of that third hole at 242. Victor Martin at 208. Justin Upton at 250. James McCann at 162. John Hicks must be making his first start because I don't have any numbers on him. Jacoby Jones at 154. Dixon Machado at 100. That's not any false line. I mean, when your best hitter is hitting 250 and it's strikeout king Justin Upton, boy, oh boy.
Yeah, Cabrera's been out. He hasn't been good. They have a lot of injuries right now. This just, they're a team, and that's why I continue to say Cleveland's not going to have any issues in this division. It's just not. The Detroit Tigers are in bad right now, and I don't see it getting out anytime soon.
Yeah, just the games just started off there. The Cubs in Cincinnati, top of the first inning. Man already on second, 3-1 count to Bryant.
Cody
so
Reed.
Reed's already getting after it early, Jeff. You're right.
Sucks. He blows. He already had a wild pitch, a walk. You look at his strike to ball ratio, 9 pitches, he's thrown 8 balls. So Cody Reed should get lit up, I would imagine. It would be hard pressed to think Cubs should roll today. But where are we going next, Donnie?
Yeah, let's peel through these last couple games here. 4:05 Eastern Standard Time start. Rotation 921, 922. Seattle, Miranda's on the mound versus Jarrell Cotton. 53% of the tickets coming in early, Jeff, on Seattle. Looks like it opened up at -116. Has peeled back a little bit. Chris is at -113, -11. So you're getting some reverse action here going with Seattle. I don't see too much of a idea. I mean, I like Oakland at home. We've talked about it. I've won money on them. And I know Seattle is terrible on the road at this point, but I think maybe Jarrell Cotton sort of caught up to again, had that bumpy road, good pitching effort, bumpy road. I don't know how much he has to offer. Seattle has to wake up out of it soon. I'm not interested in backing them just yet until they show me that they can win on the road here. Again, 1-8 overall. Oakland 9-8 on the season, which if you asked me at the opening of the season, if Oakland was going to be over 500, late April, I would take that in a heartbeat. Miranda had 7 innings, 0 earned runs in his last start. So one would think that Seattle would have a decent shot to get back on track. But again, Jeff, one of those things early in the season, when we look at Toronto as well, they got the win last night. I need them to wake up here on the road.
Yeah, they're 1-8. I mean, they're hitting 186. Their bullpen's ERA on the road is just under 7. They're not a team I'm looking to bet on the road. I'm sorry. And I'm not interested in Jarrell Cotton either. So for me, this is a 100% pass. There are plenty of games on the card. This would not be one I'm looking at. Cody Reed, nice start. 2 walks to open the game. Cubs could blow him up like first inning here. I'm sensing, Donnie, you look at this start to the game for Cody Reed. 13 pitches, 11 balls.
I'm always a big fan of the sunglasses, glasses look with the tie in the back as well. So it fits in real well for his MO out there.
Yeah. Well, good luck to him. Seattle, Oakland would be a sure pass for me. I'm not sure why you would ever bet this game. There's no
Next one up on the rotation, Jeff, 923, 924. Kansas City, the team that seemingly doesn't want to hit the baseball at all, versus Texas. Kennedy and Martinez on the mound. Very light ticket number, only about 1,300 tickets tracked. 54% coming in right now on Kansas City. The line opened up at -120, but has since gone in reverse down to about -104 in the favor. just about a pick 'em there between Texas and Kansas City. A couple things here. Not so good on the road for Kansas City, Jeff, as we all know. 2-6, 4-7 versus right-handed pitching. Texas only 4-4 at home. The wind tonight at the start of the game, though, Jeff, blowing out to right field in Globe Life, about 17 to 18 miles an hour. That might factor in. And speaking of factoring in, Cody Reed has just given up a 3-run blast. He doesn't even have an out yet. So welcome to the horse race, folks.
What I tell you, buddy? What I tell you? I'm telling you, Cody Reed fucking sucks. I hope people listen to me here. But
no,
yeah,
certainly interesting. But any thoughts, Jeff, on that Kansas City Texas game? Two teams I'm not interested in buying yet.
I'll tell you what, Donnie. I kind of like Kansas City again here.
Yeah, back to the well for you.
I'm just not looking to give up on this team yet. I don't know why. It's funny. I've saw a lot of people talking about how bad they were offensively. They're actually better batting average-wise than Texas. So
yeah,
use that for what it's right. Yeah, I'm not betting on Nick Martinez, Donnie. Nick Martinez. Yeah, he's been another guy that I've faded a lot throughout the years. He spent a lot of time down in the minor leagues. Last year, he really struggled down in those minor league teams. Yep. He's been one of those guys that they kind of put between Round Rock and the big league. So, yeah, I'm not feeling good about it. I think today Kansas City may jump out of it a little bit, but I'll tell you what, it's never good depending on them. Slight lean to the Royals, not ready to give up on them. Ian Kennedy, though, Donnie, I've done some in-depth research on. He is much better at home than he is on the road. So that with the wind blowing out, I think you said,
yes, it is.
He gives up plenty of home runs. That's kind of his issue throughout his career. Slightest of leans to the Royals, but another game I probably won't be betting.
Yeah, next one up on the card, Boston and Baltimore, 925, 926 on the rotation. 50-50 split early on, Jeff, on the tickets. -113, it opened up for Baltimore. Sitting right around that number at Chris on SBRodds.com. Jason Aquino is going to get his first start, the lefty on the mound for Baltimore. And as we all know, Jeff, me and you, the MO, I like to avoid knuckleball pitchers at all costs. Having, just fading them or taking them. If the knuckleball's on, they're sensational. If the knuckleball's off, you automatically lost the bet seemingly by like the second or third inning. Wright's looking to have a bounce back, or Wright had a nice bounce back start with versus Tampa Bay. Aquino, again, is going to be his first start on the mound. I'm not too interested in taking guys that are just coming up, and making their first start, especially against, a big-time team in a big-time situation there. 5-1, Baltimore is, however, Boston is off of a loss. 7-3, Baltimore is after a win. So something's got to give in this one. To be honest, I wouldn't want to steer anybody out there in the chat box in a different direction on this one. I don't have anything on this. A knuckleballer and a guy making his first start, I don't want any parts of that game.
Yeah, for me, it's an auto bet on Baltimore. I'll continue to bet them at home until Donnie said otherwise. They're kind of like IPFW in 2015 in college basketball. Until I say I'm not betting them, I will. I don't care that they're getting a starter here. They're money at home. That's just what it is. Their lineup's great. They crushed Stephen Wright a week or so ago. He gave up 8 earned runs, a room for 2 innings. So, yeah, they'll continue to be an auto bet for me. I don't really care who's pitching. For me, that just means they've never seen Aquino. And look, he's the first kind of minor leaguer getting a start for them. So, again, I haven't done a lot of research on the kid, but I would imagine, he's a pretty high-level kid.
Yeah, we'll move to another first start here with Lawrence and Skaggs, Toronto and Los Angeles. That is a rotation 927, 928, 907 start tonight for Casey Lawrence. Again, first career start. Los Angeles 3-7 after a loss, which was a tough one. If you watched last night, Jeff, maybe 13 innings, some crazy action all the way through. Joey Bats peels one off and hits a blast in extra innings to give them the win. Toronto 2-5 in road games, 1-3 versus left-handed pitching. Again, this is one of those games. If you take a look at tickets coming in, 59% are backing Skaggs here early on. Opened up at -135. And Jeff, I don't know about you or me. I know if a guy's going to make his first career start, but Skaggs backing him at about 158, which is showing up on Chris. Not something I'm really interested in doing today.
Yeah. You know what? I'd actually flip a coin. I would go with Toronto here. This Lawrence kid, I know it's double A and triple A, but he's at an extreme ground ball rate, 51% ground ball rate, which is really good. I don't know. I'm not going to bet this game. I'm just giving an opinion for the show. Skaggs, I'm not a believer in. He struggled. He struggled so far this year a little bit. I have no real opinion. Slight lean to Toronto, but who wants to bet on Toronto?
Yeah, exactly. Last game on the docket today, Major League Baseball, New York Yankees and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Two good young pitchers here, Pineda and Tyone going at it. 62%, no surprise back in the New York Yankees. They typically get a majority of the tickets in these type of situations here. Line opened up at minus 104, so basically a pick 'em here. It has since gone in the Yankees' favor in 62% and 86%, Jeff, of the money going on the New York Yankees. Currently sitting there at 5 dimes at minus 117, Sportsbook at minus 118. So definitely some movement in the Yankees' direction here with Pineda. 10-6 on the season for the Yankees. See if they can bounce back after a loss last night with CC Sabathia. And we'll see what happens on that game. I don't have much on this game overall. I'm not interested in backing Pittsburgh just yet. I really don't know what type of team they had going through with the Marte suspension, but they do have some young pitchers that look like they do have some talent here. And again, Pineda's been good last couple starts. 62%. If you're asking me to make a wager on this game, I'm probably going to lead towards the New York Yankees here. If Pineda's on his A game, I think he can control that Pittsburgh lineup. But stepping in front of Jamison Tyone at this point hasn't been too profitable.
No, I mean, he's 20 innings. He's given up 2 earned runs. Impressive stuff. The problem that I have here is the Pirates have been, opponents shooting 294 at PNC Park this year. Just not good. Problem I have with the Yankees is they always seem to struggle against, seeing someone for the first time. I don't know what it is, but the other night they faced someone. I forget who it was. They had major issues. I don't have much on this. Maybe under 7. As a fan, I'll root for the Yankees, but I don't really think there's much value in the betting market betting this game. Maybe under 7. I think this could be a low-scoring 3-2 type of game. You have a bullpen that's really good with the Yankees, 2 starters that you would think would go pretty deep. But I don't have much here on this one.
Yeah, exactly. Today, opening up, you usually get a mixed bag of what you like in Major League Baseball. Overall, looking at this card and just analyzing it, there's been much better cards this past week than we had today. And Jeff and I always like to stress it. If it's not there, you don't have to play it. The one game I wrote there on the chat box and, watching the show, San Francisco, Colorado, I'm going to keep an eye on. I have some time to watch that game. It's not till 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you follow me on Twitter, if I do have any plays today, I'll certainly give them out to you. We're having a good April, as I said, again, at 18-7 overall. So hopefully I can give out another winner today. We can end this week strong. But that is the baseball card for today. Jeff, you want to leave them? I know. Just do a quick recap for yourself, what you might be interested there today.
Yeah, great point by this thing we do, who has always great stats. Pineda 1-6 in first 5s this year on the road. Or wait, let me see that again. Hold on. 1-6 first 5 on the road since last season. Sorry. Wait, is that 1-6 or 1-16?
For who?
Look at Pineda, 1-16 first 5 on the road. Wow.
In his career? Ooh, head case.
Well, lately, last 17. I guess Pittsburgh plus a half a run might be a good bet there then. Wow, that's a great number. I might bet that just because. Hell of a number there, this thing we do. Great stats.
I love that when Chatbox gets in there on that, gives us some information that we might have overlooked or not saw. And again, it's a chat betting forum, so we all win money. So if you got something out there that you think's a really good side or angle, let us know about it, because again, that's what we're here for as well. If we skipped over something that you have something like that, it's fantastic, man. It's great info.
Yeah, he's a great stat guy. He has some good charts and stuff. Get in touch with him on Twitter. He's a real good follow, and he's a lot like me when we bet games. We just crush the opposition. He's been blocked by a lot of people on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah, like major league players and all sorts.
Getting after him there, Jeff. What do you want to hit next, my man? NBA action?
Sure, we can jump into NBA.
Let's go. 3 p.m. start today. The Toronto Raptors and the Milwaukee Bucks. 3,700 tickets tracked so far, so not much action here just yet. Pinnacle opened it up at -1.5. Chris and 5 dimes up to -2. Looks like Sportsbook on SBRodds.com up to 2.5 here for the Bucks. Certainly some momentum coming in. Toronto Raptors, they're reeling at this point, Jeff. Point us in the right direction here, brother.
Interesting line. A public likes the Bucks here, I think, which, I don't blame them. After the last game, but I would think that many would think Toronto would bounce back in this spot. I don't. It's kind of an odd number. You wonder where that money's coming from. I would say it's public money, right, Donnie? It looks like it's being bet by the public.
I'm going to get that indicator here. Keep going. I'll find that out.
But yeah, for me, it'd be Toronto. I think they bounce back here and get a hold of this series. They were pretty embarrassed in game 3. 34%. just not going to get it done in the NBA. They out-rebounded Milwaukee, but it didn't really matter. That game was over quickly. But for me, though, I mean, look, they've won 10 of 14 against the Milwaukee Bucks. They're in a situation where they really need to get the job done here, basically heading back to Toronto. So, yeah, for me, it would be Toronto in this game. I'll give a free play for every game. I would go Toronto +2. I think they bounce back here and get the job done in a spot where I think they have to have it.
Yeah, let's take a look at the next game here. I'm working on getting some of these numbers so we can go over them as well. 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Washington Wizards, Atlanta Hawks. Line opened up at Pinnacle, Jeff, -2.5. Currently sitting there across the board, leaning towards the Wizards, maybe the Hawks bouncing back tonight. I know you've been a proponent of the Wizards, and they have shown up early there. I know a lot of people out there have chimed in that they actually have futures there of them getting to the NBA Finals. Talk about that game a little bit, Jeff.
Yeah, this thing we just talked about as I think 50-1 on them.
There you go. Yeah.
So amazing ticket there. Fantastic stuff by him. Yeah, I like the Wizards. I mean, they've really looked good in this series. They kind of remind you a little bit of Cleveland against the Pacers. I mean, I know the Pacers, kind of played well in Game 3, but Washington just can't lose to the Hawks, it seems like. Hawks have a couple guys that you like, Millsap and, maybe Schroeder, but they just don't have too much other than those guys. I think the Wizards are balanced. This could be a sweep series. I think Washington is a threat in the East to go with Toronto and Cavs. Yeah, Washington getting points to me in this series is worth the bet. We haven't seen a ton of possible sweeps, but I think Washington goes 3-0.
Yeah,
By the way, Donnie,
go ahead, man.
I'll further say this. The Toronto Raptors have to win today. Have to.
Much like the Celtics last night, right?
It's not saying they will. They have to.
Yeah. Betting indicators early, Jeff. Milwaukee Bucks are getting 63% of the spread tickets in the second game that you just previewed, the Wizards and Hawks. The Wizards slightly at 52% of the tickets. The one interesting thing, if you're looking at money coming in, Jeff, both the Bucks, heavy favorites, but also heavy favorites with the money. If you're looking at the Atlanta Hawks, getting a little bit less than 50%, but 79% of the money is coming in on the Hawks here early. Next step up, San Antonio Spurs, Memphis Grizzlies, live from the Grindhouse. 75% of the spread bet tickets are coming in on the Spurs. 78% of the money also backing the Spurs. Line opened up at 3.5, which is exactly why you see out there, Jeff, Pinnacle, Chris, 5 Dimes, all hanging -5s out there. Give the people out there on the chat box what they need to know about this game.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking at the over in this game, 185. There's a huge steam in the under here. I mean, this total opened 190. It's been bet all the way down to 185. I think we see a situation, Donnie, where Kawhi Leonard was, and again, it's funny, I had his points, rebounds, assists over in Game 3. He didn't have a great game. They kind of decided that maybe it's not smart to put Vince Carter on him. But, yeah, I think we see the Spurs come out with a little bit more pep in their step after the game in Memphis Game 3. I think this is a good overplay. I don't have a ton on why you should bet the over. I just think, and I said it early in the series with Joe Duffy, I thought this would be shaded a lot to the under, and you're going to be able to make some money. This is a huge steam move on the under. So for me, it would be nothing but over 185 for me here.
Very good. Hey, everybody on the chat box, thanks again for tuning in. We always like to go over the momentous occasions, reaching the century mark there on live, people tuning into the show. We really appreciate your support there. Hopefully we provide a good service to you. But I know we always look at numbers there. And, the more you watch the show, the more we can do this. The more that SBR gets looks on that. Works for everybody. So again, thanks for tuning in, everybody out there, fellas. We have a lot more to go here on the show, but I just wanted to say thank you. Whenever we reach numbers like that, which is stuff that a lot of the times we don't see on there, we really appreciate it and know that we're hitting home out there and hopefully providing a service. Because, again, we're all here to make some money.
I want to say also this FA Cup between Chelsea and Tottenham, absolutely fantastic. I've been watching it kind of in and out here. A 2-2 game in the 55th. So really good game. This is a big game for these two Titans in the EPL. So really good stuff today. There's a lot of good games all weekend, which we'll get into here at the end. But yeah, thanks to everyone for listening. Getting live views, it's always tough because you got to keep people's attention. And you get a lot of views on the back end. But it's nice to see a lot of our shows getting good live views. That's always important.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
That game
Last
is
game
on
on
Fox Sports 1, I believe, by the way.
Last game on the docket, Jeff, in the NBA, the Golden State Warriors, Portland Trailblazers. No surprise here. I bet you could guess on the chat box, Jeff, or even yourself. 77% of the overall tickets on the spread coming in on the Golden State Warriors. 65% of the money coming in. Line opened up at 6.5 with Pinnacle. Pinnacle currently sitting here at 6, so maybe a little bit of sharp action coming in on the Portland Trailblazers. Jeff, what do we need to know about this game? Does Portland have a chance? Can they steal one, or is this just going to be, say la vie, games 3 and 4, let's just get to the next round?
Yeah, it's always tough betting against Golden State. I mean, I won't lie to you and tell you it is, and it is. It's very difficult, especially, at 6. I mean, it's a pretty nice number. I mean, but it's, I'd love to get 9 or 10. I'm not going to say Portland wins. I think they'll cover. I do. I think as you said, I think you want to wait on this line. You'll probably get 6.5 or 7, I would think, by tip.
Mm-hmm.
If this continues to rise, I would probably maybe take a fly out on Portland here. I think they're worth a bet. But I'm not sure Golden State will lose for some time in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But if you can get 6.5, 7, I think Portland maybe can stay in one of these games. They're a pretty good offense at home, particularly. They've been pretty effective up in the Moda Center, I believe it's called. I think Portland can hang. Public, we all know, will be all over Golden State. So I think if you can get a couple more points here, I think Portland's worth the play.
You got it. Wrapping up the NBA part of the show today, Jeff, if you had one side that you're looking at, I know you recap and break down every game, so we can't hold you to everything, but if you had a little bit of action tonight, which one would you say would be worth your money at this point?
Toronto.
Okay. So we will stick with Toronto.
They have to win. Have to win. It's really especially off that performance in the last game or lack thereof performance. They have to win. Just because they have to win doesn't mean they will, but I think in a spot getting 2 points, I think that's the play tonight. Or
you got it. All right, let's take a look at
or over 195 in that Memphis Spurs game.
You got to it. Baseball, NBA. Don't have much on hockey. 3 games on the agenda today, starting at 3 o'clock. St. Louis, Minnesota, followed by Montreal and the New York Rangers, Edmonton and San Jose later on tonight. Again, I won't steer you in the wrong direction and tell you which teams to take. I do like watching. The one thing I do root for is overtime in these games, and it's seeming to be like just about every game is hitting overtime. So a lot of fun for me watching hockey. But, Jeff, we have a couple minutes here left in the show. I know football is the name of the game for you. You're red hot on that. Give us something that we can look for, whether it be today or tomorrow, that maybe the listeners can maybe cash in on, or at least have some fun watching and tracking out there.
Yeah, for anyone that's a fan or kind of a fringe player of soccer, some really good games tomorrow, particularly on Sunday. A lot of the leagues are beginning to kind of throw in a lot of games on Sunday. Italy is going to have plenty of games tomorrow. You obviously have the Clásico in Spain between Barcelona and Real Madrid. Donnie, this is a game that I think you should get your ears perked up about, because I think you have a nice side here in Real Madrid. This Barcelona team right now is I don't know what the word is, depressing. Yeah. They're hard to watch. They're really struggling. They're a team that's calling each other out. They're crying on the pitch after games. They've come out and said that their coach is the reason that they're losing. Players should be sent down. All sorts of crazy things coming out. Now they got to go and play a team in Real Madrid who's ahead of them in La Liga, 3 points ahead with 5 match days left. 3 points here would be absolutely huge for Real Madrid. Might even put it away for them in La Liga. They are in better form right now. They're a team that is just stronger. They have better depth. Barcelona is going to be without Neymar probably for this one. Just a lot of things kind of going Real Madrid's way. I can't jump in front of that right now. Barcelona, like we've talked about in sports, Donnie, when you have a team that is down, they're on kind of a depressing state, it's hard to get involved with them no matter who it is. This Barcelona team doesn't look like Barcelona. They look like, Espanyol or Leganes in La Liga, not Barcelona. They're a train wreck, great point. For me, Real Madrid is basically even money. I think they get the job done here.
Jeff, by the way, speaking of train wreck, we have 6 runs in the first inning right now. Cincinnati ties it up at 3. No outs yet for Jake Arrieta, not helping the ERA in that spot.
Yeah, how about that? So maybe the Cubs aren't going to roll. Who knows? It could be a wild one in that
Long
game.
game, yep.
Big goal for Borussia Mönchengladbach. How about that? 2-1 up on Borussia Dortmund, who continue to struggle after the bus accident. But by the way, did you hear about what happened in that, Donnie?
Yes. Was it a Russian person that bombed that bus?
Yes, and I want to shout out to all those people on Twitter that just assumed it was someone that practiced Islam. We need to stop as a community just jumping to conclusions before we hear things. It was someone that had nothing to do with religion, someone that was upset and wanted to make some money on Borussia Dortmund, so he felt that he would throw a bomb under their bus and maybe make some money off of negative.
In theory, Jeff, it actually worked.
It did actually work, yes, because Dortmund has struggled since then. They've had major issues. Borussia Mönchengladbach is not as good as Dortmund. Dortmund should be able to beat them, but they go up 1-0. They've given up 2 goals. That's an interesting bet here if you have Borussia Mönchengladbach. The other game tomorrow, people are asking about Monaco and Lyon. Not interested in Lyon right now. I'm not interested in fading Monaco. Monaco is rolling right now. They're scoring goals like crazy. They are in great form. Mbappe has been fantastic, and Lyon is off of a tough game up in Turkey against Besiktas, which they got the job done in penalty kicks. Off of that, having to play Monaco, who is the de facto leader in this Ligue A group other than Paris Saint-Germain. I like Monaco a lot. I think they're really worth a play tomorrow as well. They will both be on my card, Real Madrid and Monaco. Lyon solid, just not too sure they have the ability to beat Monaco right now. Donnie, I got to ask you a question. Yesterday we did several soccer shows with the group at the Bankroll, Natalie, Alex, Stewart, Martin Green. So I made a bet with Alex from Need for Tips on Twitter. The bet basically is Juventus plays Monaco coming up here in the Champions League in the semifinals. There's 2 legs, obviously, which we all know. I made a bet with him that Monaco will not score in either leg.
Sounds kind of boring to me, Jeff.
I'm going to tell you why, though. Juventus has not given up a goal in over 9 hours of Champions League play. Juventus is also the best defense in the world. He gave me 5-1 on it.
How about that?
So I'm going to take a shot with it.
You get to settle that one. Anything else left there for soccer for today, Jeff?
No, but one thing I will say, Donnie, in my building, right? There's a building across the street. The fire alarm has been going off since 10:30.
Waking everybody up over there.
All I hear, it's just in my head. All I hear. It's unbelievable.
And looks like we have the Reds now taking a 4-3 lead with another shot. So we got 7 runs in the first inning. Arrieta getting pasted, but that's pretty much enough time for us today, Jeff. We did it, Major League Baseball, NBA, some soccer information. Again, check us out on Twitter. He's at Jeff Nadeau. I'm at RightSideVP. Also check out SBR Sports Picks on Twitter as well, SBRodds.com. And again, can't say it enough. Thanks so much to everybody there on the chat box providing information in here. We're going to do a lot of these shows. We have the Late Night on Campus. We run that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, and also the Right Side of Campus. Jeff does multiple soccer shows here on the network, as well as we also do the Sports Roundtable, which is a lot of fun. Hit that subscribe button down there if you like it. If you haven't yet, over 28,000 subscribers to the site. We're going to do a lot more live content as it goes on. A great summer ahead, Jeff. You want to leave with something before we get out of here, buddy?
Yeah, a couple people ragging on me about Juventus and taking that bet. I mean, we have to understand how good Juventus is defensively. They're absolutely elite. Monaco has never seen a defense quite like this. No, I have nothing else. I'm excited. Okay. Tomorrow, plenty of soccer. We have some good MLB, NBA, all sorts of good stuff. Everyone enjoy your weekend, and we'll be back Monday, 10 o'clock Eastern.